What's going on, YouTube world and my tribe members? So, we on the 4th episode. This is the review for She-Hulk. Episode 4 called This Is This Not Real Magic? I thought it was called Not Real Magic. It actually is this not real magic? It's in the form of a question. That caught me off guard. This episode is the episode from the trailers, specifically one of the major parts of the earlier trailers, like in my earlier reactions, where I did not like the CGI at all for She-Hulk. Like, this is when she's sitting there swiping and all that type of stuff. In that trailer, in that first release trailer, the CGI for that scene was horrible. But this is that episode where we get the dating part of Jen / She-Hulk's life, and the difficulties that comes with it. But let me give you. I was thinking of something. Let me give you a synopsis, and then I'm gonna get into it. So it says, "Is this not real magic? She-Hulk's new client Wong, returning Wong, is suing a magician for unauthorized use of the mystic arts." And that is basically the driving force of this episode. We get the return of Wong. Jen and her friend, they're talking about her dating life, and while this is going on, Wong, a magician at some place, is having a failed act. He's doing all these tricks and stuff, and you find out that pretty much he's a bad magician, because everybody's either not impressed with giving him the really not to impress claps. Just to, wow, I feel sorry for you, I'm gonna clap anyway. So you got his magician, you got his like little hype man telling him, do the thing. And you find out that he's actually a former student of Commentage, because he's actually got the mystic art, those rings that they use, like Dr. Strange and them use to open portals and stuff. And he invites a girl on stage who will become a pivotal part of it. I can't even remember her name, but she was like this stereotypical Hollywood drunk girl. I guess she's like, you might as well say she's like the rich girl. I want to say she almost like I think they were trying to probably make a parody of Paris Hilton, or pretty much like the Harris of rich people who goes and gets drunk and probably just stay drunk all the time, because that's pretty much all she was. Now I forgot what her name was, but she had this weird way of saying, she always, in both this scene and then in the court scene, she says, "My name is Son." She spelled out her name, but she said it's with two N's, but not where you think. It's something like she made some type of jokes. It's 2 N's, but not where you think. I'm like, what? Okay. She was a little funny, especially the fact that she doesn't call Wong, she calls them Wongers. But I'm gonna get to that. So yeah, he invites her on stage. He opens a portal. And then that's when you end up seeing Wong for the first time, and he's jamming, getting ready to have a Netflix session of Sopranos. And then as he's sitting there getting ready, starting his little Netflix session, a portal opens from above him, and or I think it's either above or to the side of him, something like that. And she comes out holding a heart. I'm like, what? What's going on here? And she's like, where am I? And and Juan's like, how did you get here? And then she tells him how she made a pact with a certain underworld demon, I guess Mephisto, and it requires some pints of blood and some stuff she can't talk about. And he opened a portal basically to Wong, and to drop her off in front of Wong realized this is the doing of the magician, aka Donnie Blaze. Now, I saw a lot of people doing reviews for this episode so far. Chief among them being Angry Joe and Tyrone Madness, but nobody seemed to pick up on the fact that everybody, when they look at the name, when they talk about the magician, they just think he's a throwaway character. He's nothing special. But I'm like, nobody picked up on the fact that Donnie Blaze in the comic books is Johnny Blaze's younger brother. I know for a fact it said he's Johnny Blaze's brother. I'm pretty sure it said it was his younger brother. My point being is that this is actually them confirming. They used this episode to confirm that Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze exist within the MCU. Now, I know what you're thinking. They already done this with Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they introduced Robbie Reyes, and we saw how in that show Robbie Reyes got his Ghost Rider powers from Johnny Blaze. But by that point in the show's continuity, I think the directors and them had purposely said that because this was around the time that Avengers Endgame and stuff, Avengers Infinity War and Endgame was coming out, that they quit going on. They stopped being in sync with the movies, and they came up with their own continuity because they didn't know. I think they said they didn't know like the events of how Endgame and Infinity War was going to play out, and they haven't gotten those parts of the script. But their show was getting ready to come out anyway. That dealt with the effects of it. But I guess that's why I said so. We don't know for sure. Is that Ghost Rider? Because when Ghost Rider debuted in that episode, in that show, we don't know if it actually was connected. But here in She-Hulk, we do get the confirmation that both Donnie and his older, more famous brother Johnny Blaze, aka Ghost Rider, exists in this universe. Now, it could just be a random character with the name of Ghost Rider's or Johnny Blaze's younger brother's name, but I'm pretty sure that's Johnny Blaze's younger brother. But you can Google it. You know, all you gotta do is Google Marvel's Donnie Blaze, and it will come up and tell you that that's the younger brother of Johnny Blaze. So once Wongers, as she calls him, gets a win in this. This is what gets him to want to sue him for misuse of the mystic arts, and he goes to recruit Jen as his lawyer. And this goes into a lot of mischievous things. You know, them trying to get him to stop taking him to court. You know, they actually get him a cease and desist. I like the fact that they try to incorporate the real world law like requirements with Marvel mystic arc / Marvel shenanigans. Like, you know, she was telling him that you know the requirements of you know the NDA and you know contracts and all that type of stuff. And Wong is like, no, we really don't do all that. They're just pretty much you pledge loyalty to us, and you're supposed to heed by the rules, you know. But pretty much they take him to court. It was funny. They do a couple. This is where the whole time is this not real magic comes into play, because Wong basically saying that what they doing, the cheap magic parlor tricks that they do is not real magic compared to the actual real magic that they use in Comitage and Doctor Strange. And pretty much it's like it's comical because Wong actually does real magic using the actual powers to do real magic while they doing theatrical magic, and it's funny in the court. And the lady was like, the judge was like, "Will you stop throwing smoke bombs in my court?" Because he keep doing the dude kept Donnie Blaze. He kept throwing smoke bombs. One to change his appearance, then another to make a bunny appear, which they did not do it all so well because he put like a little seat out through the smoke bomb, and then he was like, "Come on, hurry up!" And you can see the dude slide the bunny behind the sheet as he threw the smoke bomb. That's what he's like. When you quit throwing the smoke bombs, but nobody caught that he was that the dude put the bunny. When you clearly saw the dude put the bunny behind the little claw. Even the lawyer that the dude had was a magician as well. So I'm like, oh my god, that's ridiculous. But we do get to the side plot of Jen's dating life, where she tries to date as herself, but then it doesn't really work out, I guess you could say. When she's Jen, she gets like I think she gets like one hit as Jen, and that's because her friend helped out with a picture, and that dude was pretty much a douchebag New Yorker who really isn't a New Yorker because he hadn't really been in New York for a long time. And then they had a little thing about who's going to pay for the check because he was basically like a bum, and she was the lawyer woman. And then so she caves and dates as She-Hulk, where she gets a lot of matches. Apparently, there's a lot of people who has a thing for tall, big, green women. And those turned out to be douchebags too. But we do have our second guest. You could say second guest appearance as you will, because he technically is a guest appearance. Jennifer Hudson's ex-boyfriend or husband, David Otunga, aka a former WWE wrestler. I remember from my trailer, I was like, oh, that's David Otunga. And this is the episode he appears in as one of Jennifer's many, many bad dates. Though she do meets the guy, and the guy's like, she's asked about him, then the guy's like, I really don't like, I've been on so many bad days, I really don't like talking about myself, but let's talk about you. And it takes her back because he's actually interested. They go home. Because in that earlier court case, they didn't grant the motion for him to be able to stop doing magic until her verdict. So Donnie ends up doing another magic show with the little things, but then this time he opens a portal to like a realm with demons and little gargoyle demon like things, and that's the scene for where we saw in one of the trailers where She-Hulk is standing there and something like flies into her and attacks her, and she grabs it, and this is because Donnie realized he messed up and actually goes and gets Wong and the whole thing, and then She-Hulk, they had to get She-Hulk's help while Wong closed up the portal and her being the Hulk. And it pretty much comical. She gets to go back. That's when she picks up the dude, and they go have off-screen sex. Turns out that dude was not a good guy either because the next morning he was like, he smells breakfast stuff. She made breakfast for him, and she's watching the news, and the dude comes in. He sees Jen. He was like, "Who are you?" And he was like, "Oh, it's me. I just not in She-Hulk form. Basically, it's just me, Jen. I'm not in. I reverted from She-Hulk." And he's like, "Yeah, I gotta go. Don't forget the shirt. Don't." She just feels bad. Like, oh, I kind of do feel bad for her. It's like he was like an interesting guy and was into her. But you found out that he was only into She-Hulk. Like he didn't like her human form, And the other, it was like, cause it also plays into how that first dude who I said was a douchebag from New York. He says, "Oh yeah, she was just a 6." Like, wow, nobody really wanted to date her human form. They only wanted to date her She-Hulk form. Um, yeah, this episode was okay. I think they like 4 episodes in. I'm kind of like getting a little agitated with the whole every interaction with a man is basically over the top douchebaggery. Even when they try to not do it, like I forgot there was one scene where her and her friend was at the bar, and the dude said, he came up to him polite, like, yeah, I see you two. I hate to see you two women over here by yourself alone. I want to buy you a couple of drinks, and they blow him off, and he was like, and he said, okay, well, when if you change your mind, I'll be over there at the bar. He doesn't really be pushy with it. He is kind of he was kind of like, it was like a weird interaction, but he was like out of all the episodes since episode 1 but to now, he was like the most normal interaction when it comes to men. Everybody else, they just kind of like, do this over the board top thing with men. And by this episode, it didn't land with me. It ignored the hell out of me. Like, okay, I get it. A man could be douchebags, but come on, like they got to be over the top douchebags every episode. Even when you make fun of your own self with the girl, you make fun of women with the girl in this episode, because there's a lot of stuff I didn't really get into when it comes to her and Wong's interactions. But there's a post-credit scene with her and Wong, just a funny little post-credit scene. But oh yeah, and then there's a little thing about Titanic. That's when she was watching the news when the dude walked in to get breakfast and saw her as Jen. She was watching something with the news. I ain't gonna get into that. I'm gonna let you find that out by yourself. But yeah, I think that's the only thing I was annoyed with. Oh, the CGI here was not good as well. Like you could tell this is one of the episodes where they cleaned it up a little bit, because the CGI for when she's sitting there taking pictures of herself for the dating app was better than that trailer, but it still was kind of wonky at certain scenes. It was still wonky, so it was just that particular part. I could tell when they did the re-release trailer with the updated VFX. This is that scene, so it was just like, okay, you did make it look good in certain parts, but still other parts of this episode it looked bad. But yeah, I'm giving this episode because I'm really annoyed with how this episode. I really didn't. It was some stuff I did enjoy, some stuff, but not enough to say this was a 7 or an 8. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. It was just, like it wasn't bad, but it was just. I'm giving this 5 out of 10 big up just because it was just like, yeah. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed this video, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much, you want to support the channel, you know what to do, guys. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But don't go anywhere. Got more coming your way. Peace.